Hey everybody, my name is Malachi.
You're joined by Billy today.
Today we're gonna be commentating over the Saturday Modern June 1st event. So round one, it's gonna be myself versus Alex. Let me just mute this PC real quick. All right, so we're gonna be seeing coffers a lot tonight. Alex is on camera all three games. So we're gonna kind of talk about how this deck works for anybody who might not know. So basically, the idea behind coffers is we're trying to get out a land called Cabal Coffers and a land called Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, which turns all lands into swamps. And then Coffer says you can pay 2 mana, tap it, add black mana to your mana pool equal to the number of swamps you control.
Very solid mid-range plan backed up by a big mana support package here. Huge core of the deck is Karn the Great Creator in the One Ring. Just being able to keep ourselves alive as well as finding flexible answers to the board at times.
Doing some rolling of the dice to determine who goes first. Definitely looks like Alex rolling with the 11 gets to go first here.
See how our players do with their opening hands. It's like a Tarmogoyf, a breakout.
The second breakout, a land, an NT, another land, and then the third land.
Definitely don't hate the C3 lands in this deck, but probably don't want to see much more. Looks like both players keeping 7 here, starting off with the Mistress Bauble from Alex.
Yeah, so the deck that I'm on tonight is a aggro food deck that pulls advantage off of playing NTs in the book package to gain card advantage, to get creatures bigger and give them trample, and then running breakout to enable grabbing pretty much any creature in my deck and putting it on the battlefield, with the exception of the Old Chase Devil, which I get to put in my hand, is where I want it anyways.
NT giving trample is a very relevant keyword. Maybe not so much in this matchup, but going forward into Modern, we have lots of Wall of Root, just tons of creatures blocking up the format. Trample, very relevant.
Alright, so we're going to Thoughtseize away a breakout here. Makes sense. Get off some of that in the deck value. Fetching out a Stomping Grounds on the battlefield tapped at end of turn here, it looks like.
Saving our life total as well while doing this. Mainly looking to hit probably an Asmo off of this breakout. Just the 2-for-1 value of getting an Asmo as well as getting a cookbook all in one card. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, so a play that you'll see me do often here is always running out the NT before the breakout to be able to attack with the NT and grow the hasty creature that I get off with the breakout.
Okay.
Just being able to apply the damage as fast as possible. Yeah. So talking about this matchup specifically here, any low to the ground aggro deck is going to suffer heavily against playing against coffers. We got early game spot removal as well as the early game hand disruption to kind of just really slow down the aggro decks to the point where the coffers deck can get into that mid-rangey late game board state where they can resolve a one ring, give themselves protection, start drawing cards. Pillage the Bog being a new additions to coffers and outlaws for specifically the Golgari list. Being able to basically demonic tutor your deck for just the best card, being able to run 4 of all of your threats, real good. And here we're seeing that definitely the early game removal coming to effect.
Definitely, Coffer's a very redundant deck. Just tons of removal followed up by value and just to keep it away. Pillage the Bog, very solid in these kinds of decks. Helps you find spot removal when you need it, threats when you need it, lands when you need it. Just a very powerful card, I think, going forward in the format. Looks like a breakout here.
Running out breakout to kind of just hit a threat. Asmo, obviously best case scenario, a 3/3 beater that can grab
There's
a
one
cookbook.
right there in front. Looks like the other 2 breakouts in this pile as well. Kind of sucks sending them to the bottom, but we do have a fetch land to shuffle our deck back up. Also, Asmo itself will shuffle up our deck.
Which is
Just grabs the cookbook for shortcuts.
Which is part of the reason why breakout's so good in this deck. Having so many shuffle effects, I think I'm running more. I'm running a fair amount of fetches. I believe I'm running 8 or maybe 6 in this deck. So being able to consistently shuffle the deck and along with the NT and the Ledger Shredder being able to kind of like dig through my deck and find the best cards to be able to cast them. Just kind of like a great way to It's great for an aggro deck.
Very, very similar to Pillage the Bog, actually, in this format. Some small parallels here, both 2-mana spells that help us find consistently the best card at the time that we can find them.
Unfortunately, Pillage the Bog might be a little bit better at finding those cards.
Definitely in the late game. Looks like we're fetching up a basic swamp here.
That's a forest.
It's a forest. God, Infinity Lands, help me. I love your shock lands. I don't know what the basics do.
Yeah, the Infinity adding these full art planetary lands, I believe they're called. Some of my favorite lands.
The Asmo having haste here. Looks like a Bowmaster's here is going to trade pretty cleanly for this Asmo.
Yeah, we got the Bowmaster dealing 1 damage on ETB, creating the Orc Army, and then double blocking with the Bowmaster itself and the Orc Army, dealing a total 3 damage to the Asmo. Which is something like I definitely wasn't looking out for in this matchup, because usually in an early game, a 3/3 feels quite invincible, but getting it Bowmastered really unfortunate.
Really painful. Followed up by, of course, the One Ring, probably the best turn 4 play in Modern turn 3 if you like Registered Delighted Headfling, honestly. Or if you're a maniac with Karn or Tron lands in your deck.
Yeah, looks like we're fetching another land out here, probably the other basic to save the life total.
Still believe we have quite a few good cards in here. I think I saw a Ledger Shredder or a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're definitely... Yep, looks like we're going to be casting
Shredder
first to get that trigger off of the Tarmogoyf for the second spell for turn.
Pretty solid value here. Hopefully, we can get rid of an extra land in our hand or something. Yeah, it looks like 2 lands in a Ragavan currently.
Yeah, definitely going to keep the Ragavan here, especially for how the current board state looks.
Let's see how it goes with Alex here. Untapping with the One Ring, taking 1. Getting into your 5th mana here. No Urborg yet. We do have a KGC with a mana left over.
Yeah, I believe Alex moves a bit too fast here, and I tell him to slow it down so I can respond to this Karn. I got a decision to make whether or not I want to activate this cookbook in response to this Karn before my cookbooks don't work for pretty much the rest of time.
Yep. Makes sense. Just be able to get extra artifacts in play in case to make our sagas better in the late game. Just anything like that. Honestly, having food for Asmo later as well will matter quite a bit if we can top deck away to get it in play.
I think I'm tanking here to figure out if there's a creature already in the graveyard to see if I'm discarding this Ragavan to grow this Tarmogoyf, but I think I come to the realization that Bowmaster's in Alex's graveyard.
Interesting to see a plus on the ring here. 4/4 indestructible blocker versus, I believe, what is currently a 5/6 Goyf.
I also believe it is a 5/6. I believe we're doing the count right now.
You're missing enchantment or planeswalker.
Let's see.
Definitely going to be able to stonewall this pretty hard here. We do have a Ragavan in hand to kind of try to push forward. Interesting to see if Alex values the Ragavan connecting more than just losing 5 outright.
Yeah, being at 14, definitely think prioritizing blocking the big dumb creature is usually the correct play.
Especially when we have a ring burning us for 1 each turn, maybe more, depending on how many cards we'd like to draw. It's like some deliberation over this currently. Probably deciding if it's worth it to commit the Ragavan to the block that may just end it. So we're going for it.
Alright, we're swinging in. Math is for blockers.
Looks like all at Alex here currently, or we're deciding that at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's definitely at
Goyf
Alex
looks to be
here.
Goyf looks to be going at Karn, or unless we.
It could be. Yeah, it looks like Goyf is probably going towards Karn here.
Which makes sense on
Yeah.
the block, and then we're going to be taking 3 here. Ooh, drawing him response. Probably looking for a move a spell for this Ragavan.
Being able to block and then activate in response seems real good. Yep.
Fatal Push being able to take out the Ragavan here is probably making it hard to come back from the spot.
Yeah, Coffers having just so much early game removal like this is definitely notable to its power against these low to the ground aggro decks.
Pretty much the perfect matchup Coffers wants to see. Just a bunch of small creatures we can interact early with, as well as having a much harder time beating our late game. Still missing the mana sink here, the deck is known for, just kind of rocking out on 5 lands. Another power of the big mana decks nowadays in the format is most of the spells are just reasonable to cast without your combos.
Especially if you can stall out the game with One Ring like this and be able to, do some smart blocks, do some smart removal to make sure that you make it to where you have saturation of lands into play. All of your cards become very obtainable very quick.
Real big all-star from Outlaws here coming in Pillage and Bog, seeing a ton of play in Pioneer and Modern. Looks like we're casting it here, looking at the top 10, basically putting anything we would like in our hand. Imagine this is looking for more removal for maybe this Goyf, or even just a Coffers to try to get a mana value going on here. Still have a One Ring activation and a Karn activation this turn.
Yeah, it's just another testament to the absurd value that you can get off of playing this deck. It really is a testament to Modern. A lot of ill-informed people who are looking at Modern as a format, especially like Commander players or like other people are coming from like Standard or something like that, viewing this Modern as this hyper-aggressive, fast turn 2, turn 3 wins, is really a testament. Like one of the best decks in Modern right now, or at least pre-MH3. Being Coffers is just like the slow, grindy mid-range deck that likes to grind out the value on your opponents.
Ooh, we have a second Ragavan coming here. Looks like same attacks, maybe all going at Malachi. All going in Alex. He looks like the One Ring once again, another 4/4 indestructible body. Guess we're just saving this Karn to be able to cast a powerful spell on one turn, blocking the Ragavan this time. So I imagine that these all went to face, and we're just trying to get him burnt out from the ring.
We'll see if Alex casts a March here. This game is pretty much over.
And that's what looks like is happening here.
Yep.
March 6, I believe.
Yep, and this kind of just locks at this game. I think I'm realizing at this point that
You're just not going to come back from
the life
that.
diversity is just way too great. Seeing the One Ring and the Karn with the Coffers on the battlefield is pretty much just the end.
So we got game 1 taken by Alex. Sideboard-wise, I'm interested to see. I believe, Malachi, you mentioned you have some Haywire Mites in the sideboard that you like for this matchup.
Unfortunately, this is already an incredibly bad matchup with me, and the way my sideboard is built, Haywire Mite was pretty much the only valid card to board in. I run the Pitting Needle, interestingly, main board, if you didn't know.
Very good option. Yawgmoth running around, so very, very solid.
It's also with the Teething Wormlet's card that says whenever an artifact is battle for control, if it's the first time this ability is resolving, or no, you gain a life, and if it's the first time this ability is resolving, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Being able to kind of just play out the artifact, also on top of that, having Tarmogoyf in the deck, having a saturation of multiple different artifacts in the deck that you can filter into your graveyard is very good.
Are we interested in maybe trimming up the colors for this kind of deck? You could maybe replace the green with black. Well, no, you want to have access to Breakout.
So yeah, so the green is, you can run Breakouts, and the sideboards you can run Pick Your Poisons, you can
Haywire
run
Mites, yeah.
Haywire Mites, you can run Veil of Summers in like bad matchups. I think I maybe might have ran Veil of Summers into the deck on the sideboard, and I just never saw him this game. But yeah, being able to save some of my creatures from a fatal push sometimes just seems real good. Running out a Ledger Shredder with a Haywire Mite, definitely not the most aggressive start of all time, but definitely one of the starts of all time.
Looks like not a completely terrible start on the play here. We've gotten the tap land from Alex surveilling, being able to just fix our draws through the early game. Whatever it was, we seem to have liked it.
Not a good sign for me.
Got a Mistress Bauble here. Untapping, we're going to have the Saga pop up our upkeep. Curious to see what we get. Looks like a Lightning Bolt drawn for turn. Got a Colorless Floating.
Colors floating, fetching our library for a 1 or a 0 drop artifact card. I imagine it's probably the Pithing Needle here, naming. Interestingly, interaction with Pithing Needle here that a lot of people don't know with the Urza Saga is whenever you get that artifact out of your graveyard, it's one whole thing on the stack that has to resolve. So you never have a chance to respond to this Pithing Needle entering the battlefield and choosing the card name. So sometimes you can just hit fetch lands. Like here, if I wanted to be really cheeky, I could name Mistress Bauble and allow that Mistress Bauble just be a dead artifact on the battlefield for the rest of the game.
Roughly a 1-for-1, but a little bit low impact, I think.
But obviously, we're going for the better play here, probably naming Karn the Great Creator.
I do believe Karn the Great Creator was the name, which will shut off at least 4 win conditions in Alex's deck till we can answer this needle. Followed up by a Cookbook and a Shadow Spear. We have a trigger on this Ledger Shredder here.
Yep, trigger on the Ledger Shredder with the Shadow Spear still in the stack. And you get to
Give
see...
a second bolt. Discounting Daredevil is powerful here. Just getting an extra card, getting a +1, and being able to pick it up immediately from the Shadow Spear entry is very powerful.
Yeah, so there's mostly Fatal pushing the bird.
A little unfortunate. That's most of our
Yeah,
pressure.
very sad. It's going to be one of those creatures that we were going to be able to grow, especially with the 2 lightning bolts in hand.
Wonder where we're firing this bottle here. Looks like to Malachi.
Yep, drawing that card in the upkeep, drawing a card for turn. Really filling up the hand here to saturate with threats. Probably looking for more removal.
Anything to help us make it to the late game where our rings can take over. Going to be quite interesting to see how we get there without access to Karn. Not sure. I do believe Alex is playing some number of pick your poison in the board. We might be able to board that in for an answer here, but not going to be able to snag that needle very easily with 4 other artifacts at play at the moment.
Also, notably, we have a Gigantha revealed, which could help us out here late game for closing out.
Plotting a Pillage the Bog. Interesting, trying to save the mana this turn to be able to maybe find a ring the following turn.
Yeah, also being able to play another land on the following turn to get to X equal 8 for that Pillage of the Bog. Equipping the Haywire Mite with the Shadow Spell here to get in for that just a little bit more damage than 1 a turn. Now we're up to 2 a turn, increasing that clock.
Literally doubled our clock, Malachi. How do you feel about that?
Excellent. Obviously, our whole deck with aggro decks, right, is to pressure the life total, so...
Looks like we have a Pillage the Bog in Alex's main phase 1 here.
Yeah, I wonder if it's correct here to play the fetch land, crack the fetch land to thin another land out of the deck, and then pillage the bog. So you're like, of course, it's like we're talking about percentile difference
Yeah,
here,
very,
but
very. Also, could be relevant. We might be worried about life total. Maybe our hand is kind of clunky, and we don't want to
That
take
could be
another
true.
damage off of it.
yeah,
After all, it does appear like Malachi has 9 points of burn in their hand at the moment. So burn strategy may not be off the table here. 1 red source making it a bit awkward though.
yeah, we still don't have fetching, so I think it's probably correct to fetch before the pillage the bog resolves.
Especially if we wanted to leave some of those cards in the bottom.
Absolutely.
At this point, we're shuffling them back in. Might be dead draws in the late game. Looks like 3 mana or a Coffer's mana. It looks like 3 mana for a Free Strider Lookout, I believe.
Yes. Being
one-
able to commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library, and put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped. And that doesn't say basic land, it says any land. So we can grab our coffers, we can grab our surveil lands, fetch lands, whatever it may be.
I think one of Spike's darlings from OTJ, seen quite a few lists running around with it. I was very partial to the Scape Shift list that was running around. I never got a chance to try it. With MH3 coming out, the entire format's changed up, so I'm not sure yet.
It looks like we're trying to bolt the lookout here in response. Haywire Mite targeted with Fatal Push, which commits a crime. So we have a trigger on the stack right now for the lookout to do the look at the top card thing.
You know, the final land of our choice, putting it into play. Looks like Malachi's mulling this over. Might.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think I do a bit of a stinky oopsie whoopsie move here and try to bolt the free start lookout in response to the trigger,
I got you.
which obviously wouldn't change what I was hoping to do for it.
But, I mean, new cards are new cards. Learning as we go. Looks like that's exactly what's happening here. A fetch shock for a stomping ground in response.
Yeah, I believe Alex was kind enough to allow me to not do this and informs me that it does not stop the trigger. So
Alex always a nice person when it comes to things like that.
put that bolt back in hand. Unfortunately, Haramaya dies. We gain 2 life. And now we have no beaters on the battlefield, which is not a board state that you want to be in against.
Also, Alex plussing off this entire interaction feels very bad as well. Finding a Verdant Catacombs, it looks like off of that. Both the Haywire Mite dead and the Lookout dead, but we're just kind of hanging out currently. It's like passing back to Alex. He's untapping with 5 mana. Still missing the coffers. Coffers will allow us to go kind of crazy here, depending on what's in our hand. Tapped Overgrown Tomb. And a card.
As a congregator, looking back at this game now, I'm wondering if it's more correct to double bolt this Karn.
Actually, yes. That doesn't seem like a terrible play. It's currently just a null rod. But, I mean, also, Alex's life total is getting kind of low. You could try to go for a burn plan. Any threat here would be very good.
Yeah, being able to double bolt this Karn and get it off the battlefield to allow me to use on my Quick makes Urza Saga better, which allows and it also allows me to cast my Asmos, which turn out to be kind of dead in the deck unless I discard a card. Which there's 2 ways to do it in the deck. Well, technically 3. We got the Ledger Shredders, the NT, and the Cookbook to do it.
True.
But Cookbook being one of the easiest way and the best way to do it.
And then truly worst case scenario, I do believe Cookbook has an activation for 4 mana to just like regrow a card from your graveyard.
Yeah, which
Could pick up the
I've
Ledger
had that
Shredder.
be relevant in midi games.
I don't Cookbook a very good card. I just think the food shell's been kind of awkward.
It's 1 mana artifact that is very. It kind of, unless you're running the Overchoice Daredevils, is obviously putting negative card on foods, which foods being one of the worst out of the food clue treasure.
Yep.
Even blood tokens are better than foods because they allow you to dig through your deck. Food only gaining you 3 life is probably one of the worst artifact tokens that you can be making.
Please put some respect on my man Oko Thief of Crowns. That man was everyone thought he was completely
Yeah, you're right.
unplayable for the first pre-release. Oh,
You're-
if they only knew.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Ever
Looks
since
like
Oko
a-
got banned, food got worse. There you go.
Looks like a third Cookbook here. Not what you want to see against the Null Rod.
All right, looks like we have the coffers here with a Urborg. We have basically nearly infinite mana at this point in time.
I do believe there's also a Gigantha in hand. Gigantha
Yeah, we
known
bought
for going
Gigantha
coast
last
to
turn.
coast.
Yeah, so it looks like we're casting out this Gigantha, and looks like we're just on the beatdown plan.
Ooh, followed by a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, this game is pretty much closed out at this point. Probably bolting in response to this Thoughtseize. And there it is, Bolton face in response to Thoughtseize.
Joke's on you, opponent. I'll get that card back.
Bring Alex down to 6. He's only 2 bolts away from dead, so if
I
we
actually-
top deck bolt.
I was not paying attention to the Thoughtseize. He might be too lower here. Did we get the little
No,
Thoughtseize
we
buff?
got it, we got it. We definitely got the life.
I'm tapping Majegi here. Just one card in hand for you, Malachi. I didn't get to see what it was from Druid.
I believe at this point I have an Overchoice Daredevil in my hand. And I believe, yep, playing the tapped
Copperline
Copperline Gorge. In for
Tapping
5, down to 8.
Draw for turn is gonna be something big. Looks like an Asthma would be very big if we could get it into play.
Yeah, which brings me back to probably double bolting that Karn, the Great Creator, would have been a correct play. Running out this Overchoice Daredevil due to Alex having an Urborg turning all lands into swamps, giving me a black source to be able to cast this.
Thank you, opponent. We do appreciate your contribution to this.
But I believe if Alex here has the March of Sorrow, there's just going to be an insta-scoop. It looks like he's definitely tapping the mana
Looks
for it.
like Urbor's getting tapped. We're tapping for near 1 billion mana. Yep, and the writing's on the wall here, folks. Looks like Alex takes it here 2-0 versus 4-color food.
Yeah, really bad matchup against any aggro deck is Coffers. Whenever I run into Coffers with this deck, I pretty much know that unless they have the worst hand imaginable or just a bad player, I'm not winning that game.
Looks like we have Chris Everette versus Alex Gilmore round 2. Chris, known for his interesting build of Zoo, playing General Rockrick and a bunch of Cascade threats.
Yeah. We still got Alex here on Coffers. It's pretty much the same thing. The advantage Zoo has here over most aggro decks is we have, leyline bindings and then spells we can cast on the stack like Tribal Flames, and then Chris's deck he's running the Lightning Helix and Lightning Bolts, so we just have a lot of damage that can just go to face.
Just a very powerful strategy of just free spells, basically looking to be backed up by Token Generator. That's honestly very hard to kill. I'm not sure if we can kill it on Alex's side. It is hexproof for monocolor.
Yeah, very difficult to get rid of. Looks like we're fetching for a Surveillant here. Classic turn 1 play for Alex here, being able to really fix up his draws and then put cards into his graveyard that he doesn't want.
Really setting up for the early game just to make sure we are not going to get punked out by anything in particular.
Looks like we don't want this card in the Great Creator.
Probably a bit too early for that. Maybe looking for land drops to make it in.
Playing another fetch land. Probably passing the turn. Nope. We're going to be casting a Relic of Progenitus.
Relic of very powerful card.
Yeah, Relic, good at late game just being able to cycle a card out of your hand and then... being able to commit crimes later on in the game to trigger the free start lookout.
Pretty sure I look at a very powerful effect in these decks. I'm very happy to see it getting play. I kind of hope it doesn't go away post MH3. I've not seen too much love for it recently, but might just be everyone's very excited for the new cards.
So we're fetch shocking here with this one swept Heath.
Can't imagine it'd be anything other than maybe a Sire Draco or a, like Kavu. here on
Yeah,
turn 2.
either two of those things would be real good. Being able to apply that early game pressure. We got domain here.
Could just be a very aggressive Tribal Flame. So I'm kind of here for 2 mana, take 5, brother. Have a great day.
Yeah, it seems real good. Yeah, Tribal Flames being able to burn out your opponents really quick. Definitely the territory of Kavu. So we got a 5/5 beater, I believe, that whenever it attacks, you can discard a land and draw a card.
Also has the option to choose to exile a card from graveyard instead. Actually, really weird graveyard hate attached to it, but honestly, a very powerful card. I don't think sees a bunch of play outside of Domain Zoo.
This is my deck.
But I guess it is very restricted to that, so disregard me.
We'll also activate this relic.
Alex fetching a second Surveil Land looks like here on end step, trying to fix these draws. Most likely, I would assume if we're doing this aggressively surveilling, we either have nothing to do at the moment or we're looking for land drops.
I mean, and obviously on these with these late game, mid range grindy decks, being able to, for your first 2 lands, get both of your colors and being able to really like get the knowledge of what's on top of your library, if it's not exactly what you need for your hand, to make basically your perfect hand.
Tinker Slime.
Once again, Return of the Outlaws All-Star here. We've got another Pillage and Bog, this time only for X's 3, so we're looking at the top 6 cards.
Which is still absurd. Having 3 lands being able to top 6, that's like a better Memory Deluge.
True.
Like,
Oh, I miss Memory Deluge.
still
Good
still
times.
legal. Still legal on Modern.
Still definitely legal. I have not seen it come up recently.
It's kind of a clunky and slower card. Modern, especially after MH3, is
Modern's been
we're picking up
very efficient.
we're
yes.
picking up the pace for sure. We just don't have any more room for any sort of slow or clunky cards in any of the decks anymore.
Most of the decks that are playing are abusing it with big mana strategies to try to get them out as fast as possible. It's like a fetch for a basic planes here. Basic planes here for Chris. Most likely seeing a 3-drop, maybe a Shardless Agent, maybe a Rockrick. Looks like a Rockrick here.
Rockrick, real good. Very hard to interact with. Fatal Pushes and March of Sorrows are not going to cut it here.
Looks like we're playing a Urborg. No, sorry.
That's a Coffers. We do control all swamps here, so effectively Urborg.
Playing a good copy of the One Ring here, so now we have protection of everything. Just a pain for any creature decks that want to attack their One Ring at this point.
Yeah, Roderick's real good card. Hopefully we can cast maybe potentially two multicolored spells here to make 2 4/4s.
Being able to generate that much power quickly off of just also getting value out of your spells, very strong here. It looks like a fetch going down to 14 from Chris. Probably just getting a basic land here, I would imagine.
Yeah, saving that life total. Given that we already have Domain.
Yep, doesn't need to do too much else. As long as we can cast our Leyline Bindings for 1, I think this deck is pretty set.
Alright, so it looks like we are tapping white mana,
Assume
Leyline
for
Binding.
Leyline
Yeah, probably the One Ring here.
Are you
I
sure
imagine-
Relic might be a good choice?
Yeah, I don't think it's in the Relic.
Putting the unfortunately not a multicolor spell, so we are just kind of vibing with this Rockrick. Ooh, followed by a Scion of Draco.
Which is also notably not a multicolor spell as well, so
Also, notably very difficult to fatal push card.
very. Yeah, so I forget what the wall of text on Scion here. What's red and white? Is
Red
that
and white, I do
lifelink
believe
and double strike?
Vigilance is one of them. I know for a
Yeah,
fact.
so vigilance is probably white.
I would assume red might be trample. I think it is trample. I could be wrong though. I definitely know vigilance is white because Batter Skull with a Guild Pact in play is a pain. It's like you're following up with the Mishra's Bauble. We had a second One Ring here. Just time walking back-to-back turns. Really struggling for the aggro deck. Just maybe draw for turn here.
Yeah, it looks like red gives it first strike, and then white is going to give it hexproof.
Interesting. What gives
Hexproof
it
is blue, my bad. Vigilance is white.
Vigilance is white, yeah. I knew the Vigilance in there somewhere.
Yeah, but-
Picking up Gigantha here. Really just a whole bunch of Gigantha mirrors here. People love them some Elks. Recently had to cut it from my Storm list. Makes me a little bit sad, but I'm trying out Wish. Awful.
Look at the top card of the library here.
Going to untap, getting an extra card off the Bauble, as well as taking one from the One Ring.
How do you feel about the line where you have a fetch land in play and your opponents bobble you? Do you always fetch to make it to where they don't know the top card of your library anymore, or do you just kind of like?
I think it really depends on the contents of my hand. Like, if I need that fetch land to maybe turn like a Fatal Push, I know for Legacy's sake, things like Brainstorm, not always relevant, but Super worth it.
for sure.
Looks like a ton of burn here, a Gigantha, and a Shardless Agent. Kind of unclear why we didn't fire off this Lightning Helix in response to the Thoughtseize. Maybe just didn't wanted to save it, but we could have got a 4/4 as well as poking for 3 here.
Yeah, maybe also we wanted to, not limit the amount of decisions that Alex has to make here.
True. Second coffers. Still, no, we have an Herbivore. We have a lot of mana here going forward. So I believe right now we are currently floating 7 black
Yeah, 7 black mana in our pool here.
with another coffers in the background.
No, it looks like 6. Looks like 6.
6/6.
Yep, 6 lands.
Well, no, isn't that coffers in play right there? Oh no, I just cannot
yeah,
count.
You can't
yet.
count.
Turns
Yeah.
out counting is not my strong suit.
All right,
Probably should not have been a Titan player.
We are digging X equals
6 here, so looking for 12 cards.
12 here. Wow. Being able to look at the top 12, put a card in their hand. I believe I saw a Karn the Great Creator get grabbed there.
Basically, the world is our oyster at this point for coffers. We just need to find a way to close out this game. Though we are staring down 7 power and looking to make more with the Shardless Agent in hand.
Charlotte's Angel and a Gigantha.
True, true. Floating more mana off the coffers, I think, going up. Then back down to 5. We have a Karn. Interesting to see what the Karn grabs here. Flush Declaration. Looks like it's entered the battlefield. Just waiting to see what we want to do with it.
Down tick for 2, grabbing a card at the sideboard here.
Down taking for 2 directly in this bolt. I assume we're getting something to deal with the threats if we're doing that. Maybe
be.
an Ensnaring Bridge.
Could be an Ensnaring Bridge. Could also just be grabbing the Sundering Titan for next turn.
True. Sundering Titan eating 5 lands is a pretty rough experience for Domain 2. Cutting off that Jeggy for the rest of the time. Looks like we're thumbing through currently, trying to figure out what we want. Not sure if we have a way to kill this Rockrick. Still some deliberation.
Grab this.
Yeah, I'm not.
I still have no idea what that card is.
Yeah, I don't know what this card is. I don't know how it gets. What it does.
I'm thinking it's a pestilent cauldron. The more I look at it, but I'm not certain. So it looks like we're marching the Draco here.
Gaining an amount of life.
It deals 4 damage. I gain 4 life.
And I'm still not sure what this other card is here. Diamond Blade? Tithing Blade.
I imagine it
Interesting.
makes you sacrifice a creature. Yeah,
So this clears out the Rockrick.
yeah, sacrificing a creature, clearing out the Roderick. That makes sense. That's why we marched the Scion before we cast the spell, so that
Some
we can go to
outside
Roderick.
assistance from our lovely judge here telling us what this card was. Beast Boy, can I not tell, unfortunately. Looking a little rough for Chris here now. Basically managed to answer both boards, sticking a Planeswalker, and we're just hanging out. I guess the Planeswalker is known not long for this world with a bolt in hand, but still.
Yeah, but we also got to draw 3 off of this One Ring next turn. We definitely just
Just-
saw Pillage the Bog. Oh, that's it. That was his graveyard discard.
Just looking pretty hard to beat from here. We've got a Shardless Agent coming in and see if maybe he can grab something off this Cascade.
Yeah, best case scenario here to get himself back into the game is probably Shardless Agent into a Kavu. Looks like we hit a Lightning Helix. Probably going after this Karn.
Yep, so that clears the card pretty well. Not certain why we didn't tap this Forest. Maybe holding it up just in case. So we have One Ring Bleeding for 2 here. Oh, okay. One Ring Bleeding for 2 here. Have just nearly functional infinite mana at this point. Drawing 3 here off the ring. I'm sure we'll find something that'll be backbreaking. You might just see Jeggy go coast to coast. Is that the 4th coffers? Or the 3rd coffers?
That is the 3rd coffer. It's kind of hard to tell with the Surveillance.
Surveillance, very pretty art. Sometimes get them mixed up, unfortunately. Ooh, Pillage the
Yeah,
Bog.
Pillage the Bog is probably going to end up wrapping up this game here. Very unlikely. We see a One Ring there.
Which is just another time
Yeah.
walk at this point. Like, we're just looking for a Karn to patch things up here. There
like we
was
did.
one, last 2 cards.
Yeah, we got a Karn. Put it in a hand. Probably grabbing the Sundering Titan, which just destroys domain.
Yeah, cuts Chris off this Gigantha stuck in his hand, and that will most likely be lights out. Let's see how it goes here. If we have the mana, we certainly almost have the mana to do
Yeah, we still have
Titan.
another entire Cabal Coffers.
Yeah,
we can
there looks
tap
like
here.
11 mana floating currently.
Yeah.
This is looking like lights out.
And we're at 7, down ticket, grabbing the Sundering Titan, tapping any other mana.
Very pretty masterpiece Titan from Alex.
Yeah, good old 8 mana, cast Sundering Titan.
Would you like to have lands, opponent? Nope. Okay. Look, it's taking game 1 from Alex here.
Going into sideboard here, probably running in something to get rid of these 1 rings. We don't really have to talk too much about what Alex is sideboarding, given that he is a wish board.
My assumption would be Alex has some number to pick your poisons. After seeing Sino Draco, we might be a bit worried about Leyline of the Guild back. I do know for a fact Chris chooses not to run that in his list, going for more of a Rock Rick Cascade Shell.
Yeah, so we'll see what gets boarded in here.
There's a couple cards from Chris worth talking about. I do believe there's some Wear Tears, some Unworn Egos in the sideboard. Almost certainly want to see the Unworn Egos coming in. Maybe the Wear Tears.
Yeah, Wear Tears. This is destroy artifact notably, so it definitely doesn't hit the 1 ring. So it seems less good of a thing to be hitting. Obviously, with the Karn Wish board being able to hit some of the targets that come out of that, but it seems like a lot of the stuff that Alex is running in his sideboard is
Looks like Alex managed to box this deck. Absolute champion today.
all right.
Chris being on the play, seeing how our players are deciding to keep their hands. Looks like both keeping 7. Got a Floodist Train pass.
Drawing a Thoughtseize here,
Can't imagine we won't see that.
yeah, Urborg into Thoughtseize. Let's see what Chris started out with here.
Ooh.
Scion and a Leyline and a Ego.
Ooh.
Just one of
Interested to see what it takes here. My thought would be... Jesus, it's unclear depending on what Alex has in hand. Looks like the Sino Draco is the card we're the most worried about here.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that means if you would have been okay with that, Chris would have been able to cast that on his turn.
Yep. Notably, very difficult card for, I think, the deck to deal with. You have to march it for 4, or have some other way to kill it. As Fatal Push will not get the job done versus that card.
Yeah, unless specifically Alex is fetching that turn.
Let's see. Looks like some thinking from Chris on the side. Maybe just a land and passing out here.
Yep, land go. Alright,
Draw.
you're playing a fetch land here. And
Second
then,
Thoughtseize
Yeah,
is
second
brutal.
Thoughtseize.
See what we picked up here. Looks like we just picked up a land. Still on more Ego, Leyline Bindings hanging out in the
Yeah,
hand.
the Ego is gone. Makes sense. Don't want that to hit the coffers.
Going down here to 18 on the fetch. I would assume just getting another trial. Make sure we have perfect mana. We wait into the early game.
Yeah, domain is probably the priority here for sure.
Especially when I get the full
Still shuffling. I know we've had some conversations about the amount of shuffling that has in Modern at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it slows it down from a viewer's point of view. Whenever you're actually playing the game, though, it gives a good amount of time to think in between turns and in between plays.
I always definitely enjoyed that as a Titan player, just being able to have time to think while I was shuffling on my deck after solving that Titan.
Yeah. One of my worst habits playing Titan is always offering the ability
The
to
cut and then going right back in.
Going right back
Yep.
in again. Yeah.
Got to the point where I was like, OP, I promise, I'll be going back in here. Just give me a second.
Looks like we're gonna take a moment here to unbox Alex's deck.
Chris picking up Gigantha as a more of a stall turn. Looks like we're not picking up too much action. So, while Alex unboxes his deck, Malachi, is there any cards you're looking forward to at MH3?
Yeah, for sure. Titan is getting a lot of really good upgrades. Obviously, big Titan. I mean, we're both big Titan players,
Exactly.
so
Huge fan.
seeing that deck get like some actual real good upgrades.
Finally, some good fucking food.
Like if one more person comes up to me and talking about how Spelunking is an upgrade for my deck, I think I'm gonna hit them. Yeah, but what about you, Billy? What are you looking forward to in this set?
I think very much interested like you. Spring Heartening Tuco, I think is a very powerful card. Titan's picking up. Also doing some absolutely crack stuff with the bird. Well, it looks like we actually grabbed the Surveil land here, putting a bobble into the graveyard from Alex and drawing for turn.
Yeah, keeping a double Thoughtseize hand usually leads to hoping that you can draw more threats at the end. Oh, looks like we're pillaging for
Early
only 4.
pillage the bog before land drop for turn. Wonder if that's just trying to find our land.
He definitely picked up a swamp here, so it looks
Yeah.
like we are
Definitely.
definitely looking for the land drop there, which we get.
Right, Chris untapping here with 4 mana. Let's see what happens here. We have, I said 4 mana. Well, we're making a land drop. There's no way. My man has like 3 lands in hand. We've seen it. The room is very aware of Chris's mana woes in the moment.
Right. Yep,
Tap
so
Blood Crypt.
tap Blood Crypt, passing the turn. Looks like both players are kind of on a,
More of a reactive draw.
yeah. With Alex making sure he's hitting his land drops, well,
Looks
never
a
mind.
very solid draw.
Yeah, that's
from Alex
probably
there,
the best land drop you
Yeah.
could possibly get.
giving us 5 mana on turn 4.
It's definitely 4 mana. 4 mana into Karn. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, and then the extra one's 5. I got you.
Oh, the untap. 4 mana in the pool, my bad. So yeah, so we tap for 4 mana in the pool, cast this Karn. Seems good. Grabs the One Ring out of the sideboard.
Very smart choice. Absolutely powerful card, the One Ring. I think it's going to be very... If it wasn't format defining beforehand, we'll definitely be going into the new format.
Yeah,
6, as well, just giving us a very powerful strike.
It looks like we are bolting the Karn here.
Very good trade for that.
Yeah, but one of my favorite interactions so far in MH3 is definitely shifting Woodlands into One Ring, being able to turn it into a One Ring, put the burden counter on it, and then at the end of turn making it not a One Ring anymore, but it keeps the burden counter, so you're never actually taking damage from it. Just something that you can do repeatedly. Real good against control.
Interesting. I'm really excited to try shifting Woodlands. I've not got a chance to try post MH3 Titan. I've been rocking out on Storm because it's like one of my first love decks.
Yep.
Looks like we're fetching here for Chris. I would expect this to be a Gigantha. Ooh,
Looks
a
like a Kavu, which is arguably better than Gigantha right now. Still a 5/5 and gets some value out of it as well.
Hopefully looking to get rid of some of these extra lands we've drawn by pitching them away. But Alex notably has a One Ring in his hand. We're expecting not to take any damage this turn. 2 mana looks like a Pillage the Bog, I would assume. Yep.
Yeah, X equal 8. Getting a look at the top 8 of the library here.
Almost certainly. Well, just looking for anything to wrap the game up. Ooh, another land. I guess we are just kind of... Well, thank you for showing us, Alex. We didn't need to know that, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it gives a easier time figuring out what you're grabbing.
Always looking out for us here in the commentator's booth.
Alright, looks like we're playing that Burden Catacombs for turn.
Tapping
Tapping
it for
for
Orc.
5 mana in the pool. Casting the
footing.
One Ring and probably passing the turn. Yep, seems real good.
Looking forward to a lot of that going forward in the current format. Exciting to see Ugin's Labyrinth find homes. I think that's a very powerful card.
Yeah, Ugin's Labyrinth, you know, everyone immediately going to, hey, this is an Eldrazi card. This is going to be around Eldrazi's deck. But, like, unironically, you can also run that card in Affinity.
Yes, I was actually about to say I'm looking forward to Affinity Shells, just playing that stuff. We don't necessarily care too much about our 1-drops in Affinity, mainly zeros and other things, so I'm looking forward to turn 1 Chalice on ones on the play. It's gonna make Murktide sweat. Let's see, it looks like we're debating all we want to play here. Getting going for an Unborn Ego. The Gigantha's still stuck in our hand. Curious to see if we take out the KGCs. Looks like we're asking to see the graveyard here, see what we got left over.
Right, if they have that Karn in the graveyard there, from my understanding, Alex doesn't run any way to get things back out of the graveyard once they're in there.
I don't believe the MDFC Black Land grabs Planeswalkers, only creatures. Agadeem's Awakening, I think, only grabs creatures, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So most likely that Karn is gone for good. Some deliberation over this.
Yeah, so something to think about here is the One Ring out of the sideboard means that he's running 3 more in his deck, and there's 1 on the battlefield. We know that he has a Leyline Binding in the hand, so being able to...
I just realized a small issue with this. This was not a legal play. Alex had protection from everything. Where do you go targets? Well, that's a little bit unfortunate, but just a mishap we didn't see. Neither player seemed to have catched that, unfortunately. Looks like we're going for the One Ring here.
Yeah, happens sometimes. It's going to be a common thing.
Especially on camera. People might be nervous. Looks like an Herborg, Pick Your Poison, a Lookout, and a March in Alex's hand. Very, very strong hand. We know Chris still has a Leyline Binding chilling out. Maybe you're probably going after this One Ring here. Yep, looks like what's happening. There we go. So taking this One Ring, no burden counters on it, so we'll not check to draw any cards. Generally. Tap, draw. Still looks like we're looking for any way to close this game out. We have plenty of answers to what's going on at the moment.
Another Coffer definitely helps close out this game.
pick your poison, sacking a Chamet, gonna get a ring back here. That's a bit of a pain. No ETB, obviously, because it wasn't cast, but still, just having this card draw engine back is backbreaking. Looks like we're fetching as well, trying to thin out the number of lands in our deck before we start activating.
Yeah, just ensuring the top card of our library is going to be something that advances Alex's board state seems really good.
True. Looks like we're fetching up a basic forest here for any aspects of making sure we have enough green mana for our pillages in the late game. Maybe we're looking to cast this Lookout in our hand.
Yeah, looks like we got some more stuff going on here. Organizing a pile of mana.
Absolutely infinite mana. Tron, eat your heart out, brother. What are we still doing?
Ooh, respond to activation.
Second binding.
The second leyline binding to get that one ring again. Just making sure he's doing everything in his power to keep Alex off of card advantage. Looks like we
We're
are
floating quite a bit.
floating 6 mana down. Yep, looks like we're casting a Lookout.
Notably, we still have a march in our hand. I think we can get a crime trigger off of this. Yep, looks like we're marching to Kavu, getting another trigger. Hopefully looking to find maybe a tech land of some variety. We do have a lot of time. Quite a bit of time. Ah, looks like a whiff. Putting those cards to the bottom must suck at this point when we're looking for action.
Yeah, not hitting any lands just means that you just shuffle a whole bunch, or put a whole bunch of threats at the bottom of your library.
Knowing my luck, top of my library right now, basic swamp every time. Looks like we got a Jenny here.
Yep, 5/5 beater on the battlefield.
Still have a Jeggy in check for Chris here, for Alex, sorry. Might be looking at a wonderful Battle of the Elk. Is that another Coffers?
Another Coffers.
Oh my god.
We have infinite mana.
I will activate this coffers for 7.
And this is where we get the dinosaur from Commander Legends and start mana burning opponents. This is it, right here. Cast it off Jeggy.
Gigantha v Gigantha. Two angry deers staring down at you. I guess one of them's more angry than the other.
One of them is definitely more angry. The other one from Ikoria looks majestic. The one from, I think it's...
That's March Machines.
March Machines.
Yep.
Just looks mad. Ooh, we have a Bolt as well, cleaning up the board. Pretty strong turn here from Chris. See if we can get a threat in play as well to try to capitalize on it. Or just a pass.
Yeah,
looking
looks like a draw pass.
Well, we're under no pressure from either side. Coffer's definitely favored in this top deck more than Thoughtseize. Joke's on you, opponent. It's a land. Take 2, discard a card. Thank you. Anyway, untap. We're going to draw the best card in our deck. Oh, no, never mind.
We drew another land, I imagine.
Ooh, take mana
Yeah,
here.
definitely seeing
out.
the deck thinning coming into play here with Alex's deck, being able to draw less lands than Chris's.
True. Having 4 baubles as well as multiple Surveyor lands. I'm wondering if Domain Zoo should be picking up some number of Surveyor lands in their list. I've not looked at them recently.
I don't know. It depends on what kind of domain list you're running. If you're an aggro deck, surveillance kind of just feel bad.
True.
Like on turn 1, it's great. Any turn after that
It's kind of
is
mid.
kind of mid.
Yep. Pick up a fetch land off our Lookout trigger here. No attach from the Lookout, or does it have Vigilance?
I believe.
Might just be no attacks here. Maybe trying to play around like a Dash Ragavan off the top.
Maybe.
Ooh, Teferi Time Rattler is a good pickup.
Looks like we are definitely trying to draw a card here. Yep. So bouncing the Lookout, drawing a card.
See what we can handle off of this. Hopefully another follow-up threat to start getting some power in play. Seeing quite a few lands, unfortunately. Another Wood of Foothills fetching. It's like a fetch shock here. No basics left to fetch, maybe.
Fetch shock. I imagine if we see a blue, yeah, if we see a blue source here, we can imagine probably a Shardless Agent cascading into hopefully some more power or even a burn spell.
Honestly, I think we'd be happy with either at this point. Just getting power into play and checking Alex where we can draw out of it is probably what we're doing.
Yeah, so definitely see the Shardless Agent. Let's see what we cascade into here.
Ooh, Kavu. Kavu's a good
Cabo.
pickup.
Yep, so in one turn we managed to put 7 power on the battlefield.
As well as one of our creatures being able to filter the lands we have trapped in our hand. So hopefully some playable cards. It's like another land from Alex. Our Lookout is back. We're hanging out. A way to kill this Lookout would be great. If we can just start pressuring really hard. Definitely thinking about it. If anything, I would maybe just serve this Kavu. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, in with the 5/5.
Get this land out of my hand. Give me something better, please. Thank you. Looking to see if Alex just takes it or maybe wants to chump block. Nope, just taking 5. Any particular follow-ups here? Tapping 2 mana. I would imagine this could be another Kavu. Scion of Draco.
Scion of Draco is really good here.
Looks like another one as well.
Yeah, followed with another Scion. This is just an
That-
incredible
that's-
amount of power on the board right now.
We have definitely flipped the script on this play very quickly.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with, and when we were talking about the sideboard is if Chris can keep Alex off of that card advantage like he did this game by getting rid of the One Rings, however illegal the play may have been, and then getting rid of the other One Ring, keeping him off of card advantage, and then getting rid of the threats on the battlefield. I believe there was a turn where he got rid of a Karn the Grey Creator, if I'm not mistaken, in
We
this
had a
game.
bolt hit one. Looks like we're getting another land out here with Surveil Land. Fetching again. Alex really digging for any kind of action. Removal spells at this point.
Yeah, just thinning the deck so efficiently is just real good here.
Unfortunate thing about the build of coffers we're running now, we can't play Damnation in this list. So we are looking to just spot removal for the 4 threats Chris has lined up for us at the moment.
Yeah, not having the One Ring here with staring down at this board state is just brutal.
Yeah, we are looking for a Karn into some type of big threat. Oh, we kept on top, I believe. Interesting to see what that is, then.
I imagine it's probably a Karn.
Has to be like a Karn or a March or something. Looks like it could be a March. Yeah, we are getting the mana counters out here. No storm counter out, so I'm a little disappointed here, but at least we have some mana going for us. Karn was the pickup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
probably the
definitely-
best card in our deck.
Definitely got Karn. I'm interested in what we're grabbing here.
Depending on cards in hand, Bridge could be very powerful right now.
Yeah, Bridge could be great. Honestly, a Sundering Titan can also go crazy right now, being able to take that making that Kabu basically
True.
no power.
I would be a little bit worried about the 2 Scions, because an attack for 8 could leave us just dead to a Tribal Flames at that point.
That's so true.
Actually, the Lookout might have reach. True. Judge, does Lookout have reach? I do believe it does. It is an archer. I think we had this entire conversation. Doing some checking up on that while Alex decides what he wants to get with this Karn. Looks like Ensnaring Bridge is dumped to the front. I think that does make quite a bit of sense.
Yes.
Yep, Lookout does have reach, so not too far away from getting Tribal Flames here.
Yeah, only having
Yeah, looks like Bridge was the
2 cards in hand. It seems correct here to definitely cast this Ensnaring Bridge and pass the turn, hopefully to get back in this game.
could get absolutely blown out by a Teferi Time Raveler here, bouncing another card. Or just bouncing the bridge.
Or just a Bolt, a Lightning Helix, anything that gets rid.
Looks like a couple. Ooh, Wear Tear thumbed to the front of Chris's hand. This bridge is not going to be stopping us from that.
Yeah.
So
Wear Tear getting rid of the Ensnaring Bridge, I'm pretty sure it's just game here.
it's certainly close. I believe we have a Wear Tear,
Yeah.
and then if we draw something relevant off this Kabu, this could just be an attack for lethal here.
Reading the card.
Ooh. Yep, going for Tear, targeting bridge. Resolved. Alex has to accept this. There's a Teferi, no fun allowed.
And
And that's it.
yeah, we scoop it up.
Game 2 going to Chris, so we have a nice game 3 here. Please get your jaggies, gentlemen. Don't forget about the elk. All right, looks like they're both present for this game.
Going into game 3, I imagine sideboards don't really change as much. All cards continue to be good.
Yeah, no, everything seemed pretty good. We saw the picture poisons from Alex, the wear tears, and the egos from Chris. Alex must be feeling much better being on the play this round.
Alex hiding that fetch land for me like I didn't see when he
He
put it
really
down.
doesn't want you to know it's there. He's just hanging out. Fetch land from both players here. I would assume we're seeing another Surveil land. Pretty staple in Alex's gameplay.
Yeah, and another thing about Zoo with the whole Surveil land plans is usually on turn, whenever the turn that you play your fetch land for your first turn, you're usually grabbing a Triumph to guarantee that you have
Normally
that.
like a Forest
Yeah.
Jeskai or Absinthe. Yeah, no, I think I might be just copium here a bit. But I am very, very fond of the Surveil lands.
Yeah, that power creep really shown in Magic right now. Starting off like whenever the Scry lands became a
Yep.
thing, everyone lost their minds, and now we have a way to fill up our graveyards off playing land for turn. And
Really?
now with Outlaws, we have a way to deal a damage to an opponent whenever we play a land for turn.
Very healthy hand for you from Chris. 2 lands, 5 spells, 2 Cascaders, some burn, and some burn spells. Alex not looking at these, has to be looking at these burn spells and feeling a bit bad about thoughts using into them.
This is a very burning hand.
Yep. Taking the Tribal Flames makes sense. Want to keep their life total high. Probably a fetch for a Triumph here. I would imagine we're going to be seeing just a hold up Lightning Helix. Would love to draw a 2-drop or in some cases a 12-drop next turn.
Yeah, being able to get the Scion off here would be amazing. being able to apply that early game pressure and on top making it a target that can't be fatal pushed seems really good.
True. Let's see what we got for draw for turn. A little bit debilitation. Maybe just a land go. Yep.
Land pass. Yeah, so really banking it on this burn plan here.
Picking up, looks like another copy of Urborg from Alex. Not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, we got Orborg and Coffers though, so we're set up to just play lands at this point forward and kind of hopefully control out the board to get to that mid game, late game here.
Alex, having access to 3 mana, still did not take a game action. I assume we got up to 4s or react to spells trapped in hand. Looking like just a firing off a lightning helix on step. Chris really embracing his new burn strategy here.
Yeah, and being able to burn out here early game makes a lot of his creature aggro pieces real good in the late game, especially if you can keep Alex down at a low life total.
Wondering if we'll see a Shardless agent here. I can't imagine they would.
Yeah, we're definitely probably casting a Shardless agent here.
Ooh,
Or we're passing.
just a pass. Okay, maybe.
Looks like we're trying to cast some more burn spells on insteps.
Maybe you picked up some permission. I know some domain zoo lists play copies of Stubborn Denial. Maybe having a Stubborn Denial for a ring here, but with second coffers, I can't imagine Stubborn Denial is looking too good at the moment. So this should be floating 4.
We got 4 mana and then
Having access to 6
Yeah.
mana total, I believe, this
yeah,
turn.
you can cast Primeval Titan with that, man.
Oh,
I think.
dude. Oh, man. If only we were playing a better deck.
Alright, so we're down taking this Karn.
Interesting to see we did not activate this other coffers. So I assume we don't have a follow-up play for this,
I imagine the plan here is grabbing the One Ring.
but we don't have enough mana. Well, I mean, I was wondering if we pick up like a coding and try to start playing that plan here, but now we are no floating mana with just the untapped coffers.
Notably, there's the coffers does tap for, but you're right.
Yeah, true. It does tap for 1 currently. Needle naming Windswept Heath. How do we feel about that play currently?
I think it's bad. Really taking here, I would grab the sideboard.
I'm wondering if we're realizing we didn't tap the coffers beforehand and we're having to change game plans on the fly.
Yeah, I can't.
Looks like
Yeah,
a ring.
like I said, I can't imagine not grabbing
Yeah.
the One Ring here, being able to set up next turn, being able to gain
I
gain
do
protection.
I do believe there's still a bolt in Chris's hand. We might just be going to clear this car on instep.
There could be another benefit of keeping up that mana and not casting that Shroud on the turn. Being real mana efficient here, being able to bolt the
shocking.
Karn into.
Truly concerning. I'm getting glimpses of violent outburst here, and I'm not enjoying the reminiscing.
I believe at this point in this event, Violent Outburst was already banned.
It doesn't help me. Oh, double bolt.
Oh,
Bolt
yeah,
Karn,
so
bolt
we-
you.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to be mana efficient there.
We are definitely in.
I don't see a blue mana, so.
No, we have a Xander's Lounge right there. That's Grixis. Ooh, Scion.
Oh, Scion's good.
Still holding off on the Shardless.
Knowing that the One Ring is hand, do you think Chris should have gone for a Shardless Agent into hopefully another burn spell?
Or maybe just setting up the power. Creature
Yeah,
power.
because playing the Scion into a known One Ring seems.
Seems a little iffy, but also, like, maybe we have a binding in our hand for the ring. That could also be what's going on. We seem to leave a
That's
white up.
true, but it still doesn't stop from the protection. I imagine the goal against Coffers is trying to reduce the life total as low as possible and hopefully help his One Ring kind
Hopefully
of close out that
cross-finish
game.
line. Looks like we're floating 2 mana. Nope. So this should be... Yes, 6 mana, so we should be floating 2 mana off this card currently, down ticking to our wish board. Interesting that we did not jam the ring here. Picking up Tithing Blade once again, this should clear the Scion.
Scion. Well, this definitely makes Chris's next turn very easy. It's probably just playing one of the Cascade spells to put power on the board.
No binding here, so I'm wondering if... Another Kavu. I really think we should be playing the Shardless Agent to get our mana efficiency at this point. Because now we just have a ring into this Kavu. It's not feeling great. This card's about to downtick again. Feeling like we're falling behind.
Yeah, even casting that Shardless Agent to getting a bird spell to get rid of that Karn would have been excellent as well.
Exactly. I think we're falling a bit behind here. Minus card.
So we're down taking this Karn. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Two blue guys.
7, 8. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so still 6 mana.
6 mana.
So we're not grabbing Sundering Titan here. Oh, we are
Oh,
grabbing.
we are.
Yeah,
That makes me feel like there's a land in our hand.
Yeah, if we play a
I
land
do
into the
believe-
Sundering Titan, this this wraps up this game. It
I
looks
actually,
like
this. So Sundering Titan's 7 or 8 because we do have an Urborg in our hand. We could just make an Urborg as a land drop.
I believe Sundering Titan is 8 mana.
Ooh, plus Fatal Push. Yeah, no, I think this game's wrapping up here. Plus a Thought Seize. Jesus, the most
All right,
mana
let's-
efficient turn I've ever seen.
Let's see if we were crazy. Okay, so we had a
Binding in response.
I wonder what he's binding here. Is he binding the One Ring?
I mean, it's not
It looks like
that
it.
good, but
Tapping
it's
it,
also
tapping it
good.
in response seems like we're definitely binding this One Ring. Yep.
Unfortunately, it just feels like a losing battle knowing there's a Sundering Titan following
Yeah,
up.
so
Yeah.
we weren't crazy. There definitely was a Charlotte Agent
Taking-
there.
Taking Bloodbraid makes sense here, I guess. If we hit a land, we could attack this card down.
Yeah, casting the Charlotte Agent now seems not great now that Alex has protection.
Ooh, there's a Helix to clear the
Lightning
card.
Healings. I think at this point it's too late though. We clear out
We
this Karn.
can't target Alex though,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
We clear out this Karn. That Lightning Helix would have been good last turn, I
Yeah,
think.
I think now we're just pretty firmly behind this Sundering Titan, about to strip mine all of our lands. I guess it does have to strip mine.
There,
one of
yeah,
Alex's
there's a
lands.
coffers. This Sundering Titan's coming out right now.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the good
So
old
this should
8
take
mana
us-
Sundering Titan. Get rid of all the lands. I don't think.
I think we're pretty wrapped up from here. It just depends on whether Chris wants to sit through it or not. Fatal Push the Shardless. Yeah, we got it all. Chris looks at the hand, extends his hand. There we go. Alex taking it down once again.
All right, looks like Alex pulls up on this one. Congratulations, Alex, on the 2-1 so far. See if you have.
See if he's got a.
See if we
do
can
we have
close this
4 or
up.
3 rounds tonight?
So this is a 3-round event.
Okay.
All right,
Brian Knowles.
Bryn
Bryn.
versus Alex here. We got Bryn
Ooh,
on
Infect.
Infects. So yeah, very interesting matchup going on here. As much spot removal as Alex has, Infect has a lot of ways to give their creatures protection. Whether it be the Snakeskin Veil, I believe there's a new card that gives it hexproof and makes it like a king or something, or queen or something.
Oh
like
yes, on the roll effects,
that. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Also, just good old fashioned Veil of Summer.
Yeah,
Put
Veil
in
Summer. Yeah,
some work
yeah,
for
Veil
this
Summer
game.
puts in work. So, and you know, having a life total be half of what it normally is seems pretty brutal.
True. Looks like the player's keeping 7 again. I don't think we've seen a mulligan today, which is really nice. Just some really good consistency from all decks around. Have you seen recently the Nadu Infect lists popping up around?
I've
It is
seen Nadu
mildly
everything
funny.
lists. Nadu is being an absurd card.
Mildly funny. I like the synergy of Shuko being a mild pup spell for Infect. I think it's
Very,
kind
yeah,
of
it's
funny.
very funny. All right, looks like we're fetch shocking on Bryn's side of the battlefield here.
Expect to see some form of 1-drop. Maybe a Noble Hierarch, a Noble Hierarch, or even a Glister Elf. Glister Elf being the preferred choice here.
Classic Infect start. Tap for 1 green mana, run out the Glistener Elf. Yep.
All right, there's our Glister Elf. Alex is now in check. This card could just kill him next turn.
Playing the Urborg, tapping for 2 mana. Looks like we're marching this
This
elf.
little risky. Could get blown out by a mutagenic growth effect. Yep, that's what I was talking about. I do like Alex's sequencing of taking the mutagenic growth on the chin, though, on his turn, instead of having that happen during combat and getting another 3 infect. But we're looking at a pretty scary experience.
Yeah,
with this.
we saw the Thoughtseize there. I wonder if it was worth it to Thoughtseize and then pitch a black card to then march the elf. We got a
Inkmoth Nexus follow up.
Yep. Oop.
Just 1 infect, looks like. Just taking it slow. I respect this. I have no idea where the infect counters is on that. I'm hoping that Bryn will just hook us up with this counter on the side. Let's go. Little land drop. Bobble.
Bobble.
Playing Bobble first.
Yeah.
Being a lookout.
Yeah, that lookout committing a crime.
Definitely looking to make it into our next
at a
turn
swamp
with
there.
more. Oh yeah, this looks good. Interesting to see instep effects.
This is the
roll.
royal card, so this is going to give this creature +1/+0, I believe.
I believe it gets ward as well. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
ward
double
1.
check.
Yeah.
Still, kind of hard to get through this 2/3 body here. Even the Inkmoth is going to struggle with Lookout having reach.
Yeah, lookout seems like a good card in this matchup.
Second Inkmoth Nexus from Bryn. Oh my god, I thought that was a 2/3. Okay. Our judge just told me that this card's a 3/3. Modern design is crazy. Anyway, attack. Looks like a block here.
Block, gonna pump the...
Thinking
Maybe
about it.
not.
It's not a it's a rough experience. So Snakeskin Veil.
Snakeskin Veil, give it a +1/+1 counter. It seems real good.
But we're just trading.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Is that correct? I thought Snakeskin Veil. No, it gives hexproof, not indestructible. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of a rough effect there to just trade. Was like another follow-up lookout. Followed by a Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize committing a crime.
It was like a Blighted Agent, another Snakeskin Veil, and then, oh god, I think I know what that card is.
Spell
Spell
Pierce.
Pierce. Okay. Ooh, shiny Spell Pierce. I respect it.
Thoughtseize being one of the more in-tune flavor crime cards.
Alex finding a second Urborg here and Legend ruling them. It's pretty comical. So now, not looking in a great spot for Infect here. 2 Inkmoth Nexus staring down a 3/3 Reach is not really where you want to be.
For sure.
I do think that maybe that attack with the Elf was not entirely what we should have had.
Meaning this...
Trying to clear the way for the Nexus.
True.
Attack with the Nexus, block with the Reach.
Yeah. I assume we're going to be spinning another pumps, but hopefully to be not trading here, though. This is still not trade. Okay, alright, we're eating it this time, which is much better. Getting a counter on the Inkmoth Nexus for later. It looks like just a pass here. Notably,
Yeah, 1 card in hand at this point.
Alex with tons of mana advantage. Hopefully, we're not looking at something too powerful. Tapping coffers for 5 here. Yeah, it's not looking good.
Down taking this Karn.
Curious to see what we get off this card. We do have 1 mana floating and 2 in the background, so 3 mana total. Interesting to see what we get here. Tithing Blade been very good in the last couple of matches. Definitely not what we want to see. This, oh, that's just a needle. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Pin
Yeah,
the Needle
it's pretty
naming Linkmoth Nexus is...
I do think we've the door's been shut. Yeah.
Yeah, all of our draws are going to be real bad now.
Yeah.
At this point, we're looking for another infected creature. Looks
And
like we
even-
did find one.
we did find a Glister Elf. Okay. Now we just... So the
Yeah,
problem is
unfortunately
what's
for
follow-up coming out of this
unfortunately
card.
for Bryn here, there's just so much,
Eating
so
the
many
Titan
good
Blade.
cards,
Yeah,
so many
just-
good cards against this current board state. A Fatal Push will do it.
The Tithing Blade from the
Yeah,
sideboard.
Tithing Blade
clears
of
the board.
will do it.
Yeah,
Like, there's so many things that just get rid of this one infect creature that we have.
Notably, Tithing Blade is a win condition too.
Tithing Blade is a win condition?
Whenever the Ixalan thing to make it flip,
Okay.
when you sacrifice other artifacts or exile other artifacts, it drain lives during your upkeep.
Well, our judges also let us know that Tithing Blade's a win condition. I need to look at new Magic cards more. I kind of just get stonewalled by the broken stuff.
Yeah, it looks like we are definitely grabbing a card from the sideboard here.
Honestly, we might be good to go with just the Sundering Titan at this point.
Honestly, a Cityscape level will also just
Leveler will also clear
just,
it, yeah.
just close out this game.
Well, worth noting, there is a Spell Pierce in hand. Did we have any way
We
to
definitely got
interact
this.
with
We definitely have a Cityscape.
Yeah, this Leveler I think is going to put the nail in this coffin pretty quickly.
Next we are getting...
Sorry, small communication here going on. Yeah, no, that is just a win condition. So the flip side of the blade is just opponent loses 1 life and you gain life in your upkeep.
Opponent definitely does have a Spell Pierce here, but no blue mana now that I'm looking
No
at
blue
the-
mana and Leveler is unfortunately a creature. We do have a Mishra's Bauble going in. This
game is closed
This
out.
game's pretty over, yeah. Scenes right on the wall. We're going to game 2. Hopefully on the play we can get a much better advantage here. Having to spend a
Yeah,
card
that was
on
a classic case of Alex having the early game interaction to deal with the early game infect creatures to then get to that mid game to end up closing it out with
just
coffers and
having
the
blockers
Karn
as
board.
well.
Yep.
The Reach on Lookout, it's showed up good. This card's been good every time it's been playing tonight. I'm really starting to dig it.
Yeah, it turns out Reach is a powerful mechanic. That's why Boreal Grazer is obviously the best one drop in Magic the Gathering.
True. I really don't know how anyone lived before World Grazer was printed. How'd y'all block Goblin Guides? Did we just like take 2?
Yeah, Ragavan looks real bad when it's staring at an Arboreal Grazer.
Got a Waterlog Grove here on the play. I assume we're playing an Infect Creature. Noble Hierarch here.
That's not an infect creature, notably.
True, but could let us play a Blight Agent with protection on turn 2. Very powerful effect there. Blight Agent, notably, does not care that Lookout has reach. Please block me, I dare you. Follow up Inkmoth Nexus.
Yeah, it definitely looks like, yeah, definitely a Blighted Agent here, for sure. Smart here, leaving up green and blue mana to be able to perhaps play Spell Pierce or give protection to the.
I definitely like the sequencing as well as tapping the Hierarch instead. I know you might want to maybe bluff a white mana for any particular reason, but having your Hierarch get pushed and then having no mana access is really rough.
Yeah, I think here it's smart to leave this land untapped.
Do have another Surveil land.
Also saves you from taking that 1 damage, notably from the Pain land.
Got another Surveil land here from Alex. I assume we're looking for any amount of removal spells, getting rid of an extra swamp on top of our library. Orcish Bowmaster is a house currently, I would assume.
Yeah, Orcish Bowmaster is a real good card. Unfortunately, I feel like we haven't seen it too many times whenever throughout this.
I do believe I think actually the only time we've seen it was your Asmo getting obliterated.
That's true. The perfect answer to the Asmo is the only time we saw it.
I wonder if it's just been boarded out in most matchups. It would make sense. Domain Zoo, not a very Bowmaster-friendly matchup.
That's true. Also, this one being able to pump at instant speed might make Orcish Bowmaster a bit worse.
True. It's just not a terrible card versus Elf, though. Just getting to have a chump blocker is not awful.
No, it's fine. But
Very
also,
worried about.
in fact, from what I know about, doesn't really run too much main board card draw.
True. Worth noting, I don't know if Infect builds are still on Spellskite. Spellskite looking to be a very powerful card on this board at the moment. Would almost be lights out. Looks like we're tapping for a mana here. Going for a main phase scale up. I am going to present answer this or die this turn.
It sure is.
What is your response, Alex? How do you plead? Orcish Bowmasters.
Okay, so did you see the Orcish Bowmaster again? It is arrived. Looks like we're taking a damage here. Probably give hexproof or something of that nature.
Ooh, we are just going for lethal. This is lethal.
And this is the good old turn 3. I kill you now.
Looks like some miscommunication happened. Did this before the Bowmaster targeted, so Alex just cleared a Hierarch for free. Definitely want to clarify that. Well, this is death anyway. We don't care that our Hierarch's dead. You're dead, buddy. Good luck. We are.
4 plus 6 equals 10.
Yep, this is how math works.
Yeah, scoop it up. Yeah, that's just a classic. Classic is just like Alex didn't have the early game removal to get rid of that.
Yep, Orcish Bowmaster's on the draw a bit too slow.
Yeah.
Definitely wanted some more 1-mana interaction. Very, very powerful draw from Infect, though. Bryn playing the deck very well. Very, very patient. We'll see what happens here in game 3. Alex definitely feeling better on play right now than on the draw. Never want to be behind a Glistener Alpha 1.
Yeah, this is definitely going to boil down to the classic. If Coffers can get into that mid-range late game stage, he'll be able to close out this game fairly quickly. And if Bryn's able to just give protection fast enough and grow that Infect creature fast enough, and before Alex can get a saturation of mana, then...
True. Looks like Bryn on 6 here.
Alright, we're gonna
Overgrown
shock
Tomb
and
on
an
the
Overgrown Tomb, Thoughtseize.
Magic
Real
Ghost
good start.
Pretty much exactly what we want. Looks like a Waterlog of a Agent, a Might of Old Krosa, a Venerated Rot Priest, another land, and a Mutagenic Growth. I honestly feel like you have to take the Agent here. Rot Priest sucks, but you can clear it a bit easier. Maybe that's the other way around, honestly. Yeah, we're taking the Rot Priest. We're going to blank Bryn's turn 1, and then just hope we have a way to kill this Agent on 2. Seems like a reasonable play. Yep.
More card draw as well in between then and now.
This looks like a Verdant Catacombs. I do believe we saw that land in hand, so no new information yet. Getting a tap breeding pool, interesting.
Well,
Just saving time.
Yeah, eating that turn 1 and saving your life total seems... After getting your turn 1 eated by a Thoughtseize, saving your life total seems fine.
Alex looked to be keeping on top of that Surveil land. Never something you want to see in this scenario. Oh, no, we're getting rid of it. It's a Coffers, it looks like. Yep. Okay. So probably have our land drop secured, or just don't want to land. Doesn't tap for mana at the moment.
Yeah, we're probably looking for the removal spell.
I would assume. Either that or just smoothing draws. You might already have it. I would imagine it would be a tough sell for me for Alex to not keep a hand with at least one removal spell. Thoughtseize being good, but not that good.
Thoughtseiz's notably a removal spell.
True. I want to shoot things on the board, Malachi.
That makes
That
sense.
makes me happy.
Yeah, but preferably when to shoot things in the hand and on the board. It's like the whole thing Coffers wants to be doing.
There's the Blight Agent.
Blighted
and that is
Agent.
a very dead Blight Agent.
Yeah, it gets pushed at end of turn. Looking pretty good for Alex here.
Kind of in a squeeze where you could have maybe made an argument to hold the Blight Agent till you have a third mana, maybe protect it, but like then you open yourself up to more Thoughtseize.
All right, now we got a free shard lookout. This is looking very similar to the first game.
Yep, just early interaction followed up by here is my big booty blocker. Good luck. Also, bleeding out slowly this Warlock of second agent.
Second blind agent might be a problem.
Very powerful. Hopefully, looking to see what Alex might have for this. We have a ton of answers in the form. If we could just play a ring and not care. All right, tap land means no rings happening this turn. Probably looking for another removal spell. We could just be dead. We could just be dead to this agent. Yeah, we know what a Crosa and a Mutagen Growth. I think we are approaching death to agent here. Any pump spell, and we're done. Very powerful draw from Infect here. Yeah, we know. We ain't blocking. So any pump spell is lethal.
Yeah, we got 2 green mana and a mutagenic growth. Like, it's very unlikely here that Infect doesn't just have it.
Even then, just putting Alex to dead to the next Infect hit for the rest of the game is
I mean,
very
then the
relevant.
Viterator Raw Priest just becomes an
Exactly.
absurd
Like the
card.
second you play that card, you just can't answer anymore. You basically have to block it from now until the end of the game.
And then at that point, you just went for the target it with the
Yeah.
a pump spell or anything like that, and you go up to 10.
Yeah. So looks like we're currently thinking over this. So maybe not a cut and dry scale up Mutagen Might of Volcrosa go. Definitely got a Might of Volcrosa here. So that's currently attacking for 5 Infect. Growth currently 8. Any other thing here, and we're done.
7, yeah, plus 2.
I thought Crosa was 4/4. Yeah, so 5, and then growth is. Oh, I thought growth was 3. My
No,
apologies.
it's 2. Yeah, I'm very familiar with this card at this moment in time due to the slick shot
Oh
show
yeah,
off
slick
deck.
shot. Notably, Bryn did not pay mana for that growth, so I can imagine we have a protection spell here for this Blight Agent. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Snakeskin Veil.
There's the hex proof. Let's see if Alex has anything to follow up here.
Doesn't look like it. So we have not dead next turn, but certainly dead the following turn.
I mean, just one pump spell does it here.
We do get 2 crime triggers off of this. Yeah, it looks like we were.
I mean, at this point in the game, put as many. Oh,
Putting an E to the bottom has to feel terrible.
Yeah. At this point in the game, put all the lands on the battlefield that you want. If you have no way to deal with this agent,
Yeah, we need a ring or we need a removal spell right now. Yes, we are once again staring at I am dead to anything.
Alright, that's a 2-turn clock from Alex.
Yep, attack for 6. We even have a redraw for growth versus. Though it's looking pretty sketch for both players at the moment. We're both dead to basically anything. Picking up an elk, that's notably not a ring. All right, let's see.
notably
what happens
not
here.
a ring. Deers are not made of metal, usually.
Tapping for 5 colors, not very good currently. Let's see.
I think a pump spell just does it here.
Yes, so we're at 3. We're at 7
Tapping
infect.
for
This is
that
a
green
2/2.
mana.
Yep,
Yeah,
that is
that's
lethal.
game.
Infect taking down our undefeated coffers player. Please hold that.
Cool. Congratulations to Bryn on the win for tonight's Saturday Modern event. It was an interesting one. Definitely saw a lot of coffers here, showing off the power of, just being able to control the board until we can, win the game. Just with mid-range grindy pieces.
100%.
And then Infect obviously showing the power that sometimes we just get in there and we
Sometimes
just
you
win.
just die. Like, my guy says unblockable. Those are some nice 3/3s you have there.
All right. Well,
Anyway, looking forward to see y'all next week when for some reason there was a really loud storm the entire time. Anyway, have a great night, y'all.
all right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see y'all guys later.
Hit that like button.